Good evening. I'd like to call the, September meeting of the Beavercreek Board of Zoning Appeals to order. Ms. Gillo, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Botla?
Yes.
Mr. Clunin?
Yes.
Mr. Essman is absent. Ms. Piddle? Mr. Archibald?
Here. I will entertain a motion to excuse Mr. Essman.
I motion to exclude Mr. Atman.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second by voice vote. All in favor of excusing Mr. Essman from today's meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, Mr. Essman is so excused. Before we get down to the rest of the agenda, I'd like to welcome Mrs. Bonnie Piddle to our board. This is our first, she's been on the board for a while, but this is her first board meeting, so welcome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, so we have an agenda. We have an adjustment to the agenda where we had 2 public hearings scheduled, and we are only going to have 1 now. And that case has been removed, been settled by the city and the person, the people. Anyway, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I move the motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Second? And we have a second by voice vote. All in favor of approving the agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the agenda has been approved. Okay. So we have another order of business that should have been done back in March. Well, we get appointed in February. We do the reorganization in March, right? And that is the reorganization. Essentially, that entails appointing or reappointing a board chair and a board vice chair. So I would like to start by having someone make a motion to open nominations for chair.
Yeah, I move the motion to nominate Mr.
Mike,
Archibald.
no, no, just to open the nominations.
Yeah, I nominate, I motion to nominate Mr. Archibald, right?
No, we
I-
have to open the nominations first, and then you can nominate.
Yeah, I open the motion to, yeah.
Okay, we have a motion to open the nominations. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, and by voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, nominations for chair are open. So, now,
No, sorry. I got ahead. Well, I move the motion to nominate Mr. Archibald. He has done a fantastic job. We don't have many events, this year, and so I'm glad to nominate Mr. Archibald.
thank you. I accept that nomination. Do we have any other nominations for chair? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close nominations for chair.
Move to close.
Okay, we have a motion to close the nominations for chair. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, nominations are closed. And because there were no other nominees, I am again board chair. I did that right? Melissa, I did that right. Very cool. Okay, same process. We need to I need a motion to open nominations for vice chair.
Move to open for vice chair.
Okay, motion to open nominations for vice chair. Do I hear a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second by voice vote. All in favor of opening nominations for vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, nominations for vice chair are now open.
I would nominate Mr. Botla for vice chair.
Okay, we have a nomination for Mr. Botla. Do you accept?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations for vice chair? Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the nominations for vice chair.
Motion to close.
Motion to close. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by voice vote. All in favor of closing nominations for vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. The nominations for vice chair have been closed. Congratulations,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Vatla.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And
Thank
reorganization agenda item has been completed. Now we have minutes from January. Does anybody remember back in January what we did?
We forgot. Long time back.
Okay. Do we have any adjustments, corrections, additions, deletions from the minutes from our January meeting? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I move to approve them as written.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes of the January meeting as written. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have an approval, a motion and a second. By voice vote, all in favor of approving the minutes as written, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Mrs. Piddle, thank you for abstaining that. I know you weren't here for those, so. Okay, moving on to our first and only public hearing tonight. That is public hearing V 24-3, Mr. Joe Ducro at 1625 North Fairfield Road. Ms. Gillow.
This is case number V 24-3 and on an application filed by Joe Ducro, 2240 Richard Street, Dayton, Ohio, 45403. Requesting a variance from chapter 158.118D3, requesting permission to construct a driveway expansion that would exceed the 35 maximum allowed for driveways and parking areas in the front yard. The property is located at 1625 North Fairfield Road, further described as Book 5, Page 3, Parcel 52 on the Greene County Property Tax Atlas.
Okay, thank you very much. Who goes first, Mr. Ducro? No, staff. Mr. Funk. I'm out of practice, you know? It's only been 8 months.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So what we have on the agenda for tonight is a variance request at 1625 North Fairfield Road. I got a wrong address on there. North Fairfield Road, basically the applicant lives just south of Suburban Drive. Here is our nice little drive-by of the applicant's house.
Thank you.
So the applicant lives at 1625 North Fairfield Road, and in 2025, so next year, there's going to be a road project along North Fairfield Road, and engineering's been reaching out to adjoining properties and things like that. And in that process, Mr. Ducro approached the engineering department about, because he's losing, let me forward here, you can see in the yellow basically is the right-of-way that has been acquired from his front yard. This front part of the yellow line used to be the front property line. Now it's back here. So Mr. Ducro's losing basically a portion of his front yard and driveway. So in the process of that, Mr. Ducro approached the engineering department about getting a second drive approach onto North Fairfield Road so that the occupants of the home there can actually just kind of wrap around instead of trying to have to back out onto North Fairfield Road, which, you know, if you've ever been down North Fairfield Road on a busy time of day, it can be challenging. So when the engineering department was looking at that, they recognized the amount of the front yard that he was going to be paving, and we actually have a section in our zoning code 158-118 that says you can't pave more than 35% of your front yard. So Mr. Ducro reached out to us, and we ran some quick calculations, discovered that yes, he was going to exceed that. So he's with the existing, what's in red, is already at like 32% of his front yard. So obviously wouldn't take much paving to exceed that 35%.
Plus, you're taking 40% of it, right?
Right, yeah, we took, the city acquired a decent portion of his front yard. So backing up, so this is basically, again, another picture of the front. of the house and where the existing driveway is, and basically he's got a tree there that he'll have to end up taking out, but he wants to wrap it back around to North Fairfield Road so people can easily get in and out of the house, the property safely. And basically, this is the plan that he submitted of what he wanted to do. That's what he submitted to the engineering department. So basically, when we are looking at our criteria, the first criteria is whether the property in question yields a reasonable return or whether it can be any beneficial use of the property without the variance. Staff didn't feel like he actually met that because there's still a reasonable use and beneficial use of the property without the variance. So we didn't feel like he met that criteria. And the second criteria was whether the variance was substantial. And we did feel like the variance was substantial, because basically he's going from 32 to roughly 56% paved of his front yard, which is a significant amount. But criteria 3 is the essential character of the neighborhood be substantially altered, or would there be substantial detriment as a result of the variance? And we felt like he did meet that criteria. There are other properties on North Fairfield Road that have wraparound porches or wraparound driveways, and the fact that the applicant won't have to, or the occupants there won't have to back out onto Fairfield Road, there is a little bit of a safety issue there. So we did feel like he met that criteria. The fourth criteria is whether the delivery of governmental services would be adversely affected. Obviously, trash pickup, street maintenance, all that stuff would not be adversely affected by that. So we felt like he met that criteria. The fifth criteria is whether the property owner purchased the property with knowledge of the zoning restriction at the time he purchased the property. Obviously, we don't know exactly if he did or not, but we do feel like at the time, is not likely to understand the impact of the road when the property was when he purchased the property, the impact of a future road project at the time. So we kind of neutral on that. The sixth criteria, whether the property's predicament can feasibly can be remedied through some other method, and there's really no other reasonable alternative to what the applicants requested. I mean, he could do kind of another wing to kind of pull out and turn around and all that, but even at that, at 32% with his existing, he's going to easily exceed 35%, and so either way, he's going to have a variance. He would come before this board no matter what. And then lastly, is the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement, would it be observed, and would substantial justice be done by the granting of the variance? And staff feels like substantial justice would be done and granting the variance and providing safe entry and exit to the property. I will share that the engineering department would have granted him the curb cut right away. I mean, they saw the need for it and would have granted him that. The only reason they withheld doing that so far is just because of the restrictions of the zoning code. So had we not had that requirement of the 35%, the engineering department would have had no issue with granting the curb cut to allow him to do the wraparound driveway.
Okay, good to know. Thank you, Matt. Okay, do we have a representative of the applicant here? Mr. Duco, please come up, read the thing that's in the upper left-hand corner of the podium, and then you can tell us why you're here.
Joe Ducro, I'm the owner of the property at 1625 North Fairfield. I affirm the testimony I'm about to give before the Board of Appeals is the truth to the best of my knowledge.
Very cool. Thank you.
All right. Basically, he kind of covered all the points. I thought he did a great job. The major reason for me coming with the wraparound driveway is truly a safety issue. The gentleman that lives there has 2 young daughters, just learning how to drive, and I wouldn't want anybody trying to back out of North Fairfield.
No, you don't.
Currently, before the road expansion, there was ample room to where whether they parked in the garage or parked off to the side. There's some things I went through with the girls on how to back up and, pull forward and how to utilize the full space of the driveway, and they've never had a problem. But when you take that 10 feet out, it just ain't no room.
Sure.
So, and again, we originally talked, and they were more than willing to work with me on the other approachway until this issue popped up, and hence my appearance here before you.
Very cool. Thank you very much. If we have questions for you, we'll call you up during the board discussion.
Very good.
Okay, since this is a public hearing, do we have anybody from the public who wishes to speak in favor of or against this variance request? Going once, going twice. Public hearing is now closed. And I will open it up for board discussion. Let's start with Mr. Clunin.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mr. Funk, maybe a couple quick ones for you. I suppose I'd say first, I certainly understand the backing out of North Fairfield. It's a pain. I drive down it fairly often, I guess every day. I live in a neighborhood nearby, and I'm like, I wouldn't want to do that. So I get it. I'm curious about the percentages that you talked about with the second factor.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if it's easy enough if it makes sense to put it back up on the screen or not, but do you know what currently, without considering the road improvement project, what percentage it's at? Because it seems like it's probably pretty close to, or is the red right now 32?
The red right now is 32.
Okay,
Yes.
so the yellow, which is about to be appropriated or taken from the city, is going to be, that probably puts it over 35 as is, right?
Well, the red, excluding the yellow, is at 32%. So
Right. I guess what I'm trying to just wonder is it over 35% right now?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Is the somewhat relatedly, I assume there's going to be a new sidewalk that's going to go down North Fairfield because it's being.
Yeah, I would imagine. So. I don't have copies of what the road project plans, what the plans are for there, but I imagine, yeah, they will keep the sidewalk. They'll just move it. Typically, the back edge of the side of the sidewalk nearest the home would be that now blue line. So this line right here, so the sidewalk would come right through here. So the back edge of the sidewalk is typically the front property line. I'm not 100%, I can't say for certain but that's typically what happens.
Are part of the sidewalks, or I guess the part of the sidewalk that would go over the driveway, does that normally count towards the percentages for the driveways?
No, anything in the yellow is not counting into the percentages.
Okay.
So the sidewalk and everything that would be in that yellow area as far as drive would not be calculated in that. It's just front yard. So it would be everything from the blue line to the house would be in that box there would be basically what we consider front yard and in that calculation.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's all I have for now. I'll reserve the right for seconds just in case.
Gotcha. Mrs. Piddle.
Yes, I do have one question.
Mike, turn your mic on.
Oh, sorry.
Just hit the green.
How many of these do you think we're going to have?
That I don't know.
Because this is just probably the beginning, correct? I mean,
I don't know. They've been working on the plans for this project and stuff for a while. So I don't know. I mean, each situation is different. I mean, there could be other houses that are set back farther. There could be other houses that have wider driveways. So every situation is going to be unique. To the best of my knowledge, this is the only one that engineering has had asked for the wraparound driveway that is creating this issue.
thank you.
Anything else?
No. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Butler.
That the solution that applicant, Mr. Turco, has come up with a very kind of good solution, given that you have been put in that situation. And it's not your fault because city wants to possess some of the land for expansion of this North Fairfield Road. So as far as, I don't think that the cost of inconvenience to you is any issue to you. No, that's not an issue to you. Okay. No, I have no other question.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Mr. Funk, I just wanted to follow up with Mrs. Pittle's question because just looking at these pictures, right, there's the two houses north and south of Mr. Duco's property look like they're going to fall into the same situation. Is the city being proactive in reaching out to these folks to see if there's going to make sure that they're not going to try to plan something and do it without a variance, or can we give them a blanket variance request to have these things accomplished?
To the best of my knowledge, as the city's working with the adjoining property, the property owners along that corridor, as far as, what their needs are as far as drive aprons, because obviously the city's paying for the installation of the drive aprons, things like that. I do know that the house to the north there is on the corner of Suburban and North Fairfield, and they actually, let me go back here. I can't see it in that picture either. They actually, their driveway exits onto Suburban
Oh,
Drive.
okay. Okay.
And the house to the south, to the best of my I think they actually have a little bit wider driveway, if I recall. So I'm not sure that there's much of a need there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, their driveway's a little larger and it goes back farther onto the
got it.
property.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay, thank you. Mr. Ducro, come on up. I only really have one question. You're going to be able to save the tree?
I don't think so. It looks like
Shame.
when they, we'll see when they start cutting, when they start digging for the
Yeah.
for the sidewalk, some of the other things. A lot of times you get them trees, them roots go out so far, they start cutting the roots of them trees.
Yeah.
They're dead.
They're dead, right.
They just die. They already planned on taking out the pine tree, because it's right in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Or where the expansion is gonna be, but the tree to the middle, I don't see that making it through. There's still some other, 2 or 3 other trees around the back, and we'll probably plant some bushes up in the front.
Yeah.
For the fact that you're so close to the roadway, nobody wants to,
If it was bigger like a redwood, you could tunnel through it.
yeah, it ain't that big. But like you
Okay.
said, some of the concerns about some of the other places, it's like he said, the people on the north side, they park on the side of their house.
Okay.
The guy south, he has a long driveway that goes way back into the back of his property, which attaches to his garage. And then 2 doors south is where the other wraparound driveway is, where they've done something similar to what I'm looking to do. And I don't think there's anybody else after. There's only 5 or 6 houses in that little section.
Sure.
That this will pertain to, so.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. All right, I'm going to ask for seconds.
Yeah,
Anybody?
I have a second question.
Okay.
A question for the applicant. Since you are, required to build, for the parking, you'll be required to apply for the permit, right? Permit to expand driveway?
We don't actually, the city doesn't require a permit for the driveway. The city only requires a permit for any work of any part of the drive that would be in the right of way. And since it's a city project that's widening the road, I think all that's incorporated into that road project. So the applicant for the wraparound part of the driveway that's on private property, he will not need a permit for.
He will not, okay.
No, we don't require permits for
Okay,
that.
thank you. That's-
Bonus
That's all,
points,
that's
yeah.
all.
Okay, so I think we're done with the board discussion, and I'll ask for a roll call vote. Oh, we have a motion. I guess we need a motion first, don't we? Yeah, we can vote, let's vote for nothing. Okay, so it's been a while, you know?
Yeah, I know, I forgot.
So I will entertain a motion for either approval or disapproval of variance V 24-3, Joe Ducro, 1625 North Fairfield Road.
I move the motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve,
I'll second.
and we have a second, and now.
Mr. Clunin,
Yes.
Mrs. Piddle,
Yes.
Mr. Botla.
Yes.
Mr. Archibald.
Yes. Okay, so that passed. Mr. Duco, you're good to go. Thank you. Good luck with your project. Okay, any other business? Okay, so without further ado, I will entertain a motion to adjourn this fine meeting.
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
I second.
A motion and a second by voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Well, that was very short.